is not my first rodeo.
Welcome back into the Mark Cox Show. Glad that you're with us. I played that one of the greatest hits there from Hillary Clinton from the 2016 election, primarily because the Democrats have sort of done an autopsy of the campaign themselves, and there's a great article on it today. And in fact, McClatchy has got an article on this, and we'll talk more about that in a couple of minutes. But right now, we're joined by one of the authors of the new book called Shattered, sort of a inside look at Hillary Clinton's doomed campaign. Amy Parnes is joining us right now. Amy, welcome into the show. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving us some time. I know we were trying to get your co-author as well. I don't think either we haven't been able to reach him or maybe he's going to call in later, but is it okay for us to go ahead?
Of course.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
good. So I can't wait to read the book because I've seen a couple of interviews with the two of you regarding this subject, and I was reading up on this report that's been done by the Democratic political firm Global Strategy Group. They've reached the conclusion that Hillary Clinton lost because she had a big problem with voters who supported Obama in 2012 but backed Trump 4 years later. Was it that simple?
It's that, and it's a million other things, including what my co-author and I detail in the book, which is a problem with messaging, a larger image problem that sort of loomed over her campaign, resulting from the email controversy and her speeches to big banks and other things. You know, she evokes sort of a visceral reaction from folks, so everyone had an opinion of her. And you know, there was also infighting in the campaign. There were lots of problems.
Now, obviously, a lot of people who were in her campaign were very bitter after this loss. How in the world? I mean, I have the utmost respect for how you managed to get them to talk about some of the inner workings of this campaign. Was it because of their bitterness that they were willing to talk? I mean, these are still big Hillary Clinton supporters, right?
Yes, and many of them, you know, we interviewed more than 100 people inside and just outside the campaign in Clinton world. But I think John and I, my co-author, wrote a previous book, HRC, on her time at the State Department. So we knew a lot of these folks. I think they trusted us. We obviously all thought the outcome would be different and that we would be publishing a book during a second Clinton presidency.
Right.
That didn't go as planned. But I think, you know, our goal here was to basically talk to as many people as possible. We interviewed everyone on background so that they would give us the most candid, accurate version of accounts. And I think that was what we aimed to do, and that's what we did. We're essentially telling their story. That's why this book is so unique, because it's not just our opinions of the campaign. It's actually the inside story of what happened.
So from one of the snippets that I read, it seems there was a little bit of paranoia in the campaign based on what happened in 2012. How did that play into the loss this year?
Well, I think they tried to, in some ways, fight the last war. And a lot of what we saw in 2016 was actually something that they tried to correct from 2008 when for one thing, Secretary Clinton back then was the inevitable candidate. And she became that again, we found, because she didn't really have a message that she was pushing. She didn't have a reason for running again. And we talked to someone inside, a senior advisor inside the campaign, who basically said, I would have had a reason for running or I wouldn't have run. And that's from someone who was, you know, up there with her and advising her every day. And I think a lot of people still didn't think at the end of the campaign that she gave people a reason for why she wanted to be president.
Did you quote somebody in your book as having said that they joked that maybe her theme should have been, "It's my turn"?
Yeah, it's a common theme, actually, and I think that was a major problem for her, that people knew what Trump was about. They knew that he wanted to make America great again. If you asked most people on the street, they could tell you that, and they could tell you that he wanted to build a wall and what his positions on trade were. With her, she was pushing so many things that it often got a little convoluted, and people didn't really understand why she was running and what she would do better than Trump.
we're talking to Amy Parnes, who's one of the authors of Shattered, sort of a glimpse inside Hillary Clinton's doomed campaign. Jonathan Allen is the other co-author of the book. What about the relationship and the interaction between the former president, Bill Clinton, and Hillary with the campaign staff? She was rather insulated through this whole thing, wasn't she?
Yeah, and in fact, he wanted to be sent to various places, and he kept kind of sounding the alarm. The campaign was very reliant on data analytics. And I think that was what drove many of their decisions. And Bill Clinton, who's actually one of the greatest politicians, he's a glad hander, and he knows how to schmooze like the best of them. And he was basically saying, you're not sending me to the right places. You are, I need to be sent to these places. I'm getting a different feel on the ground. And there was pushback coming from Brooklyn. And I think that was actually problematic because he could have helped her. I think they were keeping a tighter leash on him this time around because in 2008, a lot of people thought that he was, stepping into it and getting into trouble, and he kind of had a blind spot when it came to his wife. But yeah, so they didn't utilize him in the right ways, I think a lot of people feel.
Amy, it looks like your partner Jonathan has joined us now as well. Jonathan Allen is on the phone line with us as well. And Jonathan, we've already been talking a little bit to Amy about your book, Shattered. Welcome in.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We've talked a little bit just to kind of catch you up on sort of the inner workings of the campaign and the fact that Hillary Clinton seemed to be kind of isolated or insulated, I should say, in the interior of the campaign. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's absolutely right. There were, her main gatekeeper is Huma Abedin. Folks may know her as Anthony.
Jonathan, are you there?
You got me?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you faded out a little bit. Sorry, go ahead and try that again.
I was just saying, Huma Abedin acted as a gatekeeper, and in addition to that, I think there were a lot of people on the campaign that were afraid to bring up problems that were going on while it was happening. So,
Jonathan, I'll direct this one to you too. How much of the book Shattered takes a look at the last couple of weeks of the campaign? Was there is that where the worm turned, so to speak? Did they lose focus on these important states in Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania? Does it kind of construct how that went down?
It does. In fact, we have the first real TikTok of what went on inside her hotel room on election night itself, and before that, a chapter called Red October that discusses the influence of Russia in the campaign, and James Comey letter that came out at the end of October, and all of these things probably had some impact, but also there were a lot of things that Hillary Clinton did to damage her own campaign. My guess is Amy's probably talked a little bit about that, but basically this is the blow by blow of what happened in this campaign and when things went south. As far as Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania go, Pennsylvania, she campaigned as hard as she could there. Wisconsin and Michigan, not the case. Her campaign, as we report, believed that it was bad for her to let people in Michigan and Wisconsin know that there was an election going on. They felt that the more people knew about it, the more likely it was that people who were against her would turn out. So they kept her out of those states. And that goes back to a bigger fight that was going on between the campaign manager, Robbie Mook, and some of his elders, including Bill Clinton. They believed that she should be out there trying to persuade people who didn't agree with her. Robbie had pretty much given up on persuasion and was really just trying to get turnout of the Democratic base.
Right. Yeah. And Amy, we talked about this a minute ago. Bill Clinton, everyone I know who's ever met him said they walked away feeling like they were the only person in the room when he was talking to him, sort of that charisma that you talked about. Did as a candidate, did Hillary Clinton intentionally spurn him for the advice of Robbie Mook?
I think she believes in evidence-based conclusions, and I think that was a problem, that she really wanted to rely on the data that was coming in. She felt like that was the way forward, and I think he was kind of at the opposite end of the spectrum.
So I guess I'll direct this to both of you, since you spent so much time researching this and getting to know some of the people on the inside of her campaign. Is the Democrats have talked a lot these days about where they go from here and how they kind of put their coalition back together. Did you find evidence in writing this book that they didn't orchestrate that properly, and had they done it better, they would have won? Or did you see problems that are going to linger possibly into the next election, 2020? I'm sorry. Are you there, Amy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
At me. I think that, I think people realize that this election cycle, she wasn't the right candidate, I think, for this particular time. There's this rise of populism happening on, you see Bernie Sanders and basically everything, all the excitement behind his campaign. You saw Donald Trump on the other end, and the excitement that he was bringing. And she was sort of, she didn't really understand what was happening. And I think, in one scene we have in the book, we detail how she's basically confiding in a confidant and saying, I don't get what's happening. I can't wrap my arms around this. And I think that's a problem. That's something the Democratic Party, I think, is going to kind of take a harder look at and kind of put forth the best candidate for the time, I think, and to not feel the need to sort of rely on who people think is the best or the inevitable candidate so much. They learned this lesson twice, I think, in the 2008 primary and then once again in 2016.
So Jonathan, one last question. What is your book? How does your book treat the email scandal? Was it something they continued to just believe that people wouldn't care about, or did they undervalue the impact that was having on the voting public?
Both of those and more. We go into pretty sharp detail about this. The email server story broke in March of 2015, a month before she announced her candidacy. Secretary Clinton chose not to apologize for that for months. During those months, the summer of 2015, Bernie Sanders started to gain traction. Her credibility numbers were falling. A lot of Americans believed she was dishonest, not only Republicans, but some Democrats. And you see that is a motif of this entire campaign, is the email scandal and how it affected her credibility. All of the things that James Comey, the FBI director, did wouldn't have been done had there not been this odd email server arrangement. He decided not to prosecute her, but then condemned her. There was a lot of controversy over that. Then he releases a letter saying that the investigation's being reopened. I think that was October 28th, while people are already early voting. Then he comes out and says that, no, they didn't find anything new right before the election, reminding people yet again of this email server. And I think there were a lot of voters who had qualms about her honesty. It certainly was something that rallied Republicans, and I think it depressed Democrats a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Jonathan Allen, Amy Parnes, they're authors of Shattered: Inside Hillary Clinton's Doomed Campaign. I'm looking at the Amazon.com page with the book up there, so you can get it in Kindle or hardcover or Audible or whatever you're looking for, and I can't wait to read it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. We hope you like it.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Jonathan Allen and Amy Parnes joining us there. Wow. It sounds like they were able to get some pretty honest analysis from these people these are the people we saw sitting in the front row of Hillary Clinton's speech she gave a day or two after the election, just sobbing. I mean, tears running down. They couldn't believe what happened. But it sounds like within the campaign, there was a lot of movement going on in the wrong direction. We'll look forward to reading that. You can also always get that audio with our interview on 971talk.com, and we'll put it out on Twitter and post it on the Facebook page as well. 314-969-9797. Congrats to Joe from Smithton, Illinois, who won our ticket giveaway today. We'll be doing that again tomorrow. We'll get back with more of your phone calls right after this.
This is the Mark Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Mostly cloudy skies on this Monday. A couple of spotty showers, 59 for the high. Tonight, 48. Tuesday, lots of sunshine. It's a warm day, and with all the low-level moisture, it's quite humid on Tuesday. Here comes another round. It's not a repeat of the last 5 days, but another round of rain Wednesday and Thursday, just adding to the flooding. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
The Mark Cox Show is sponsored in part by Granite Transformations. Let them transform your kitchen, bath, or commercial space. Explore the wide selection of products in their beautiful showroom in Chesterfield or online at granitetransformations.com. They have the perfect solution for your next project. Well, maybe you're...
Craig Suntrup here with Suntrup Automotive. We want you to trade up at Suntrup, so we are making it even easier for you. We want to be mindful of your time and offer you an efficient, transparent experience. Visit any Suntrup, Hyundai, Kia, Nissan, or Volkswagen location today and put us on the clock. We want to get your price, payment, and trade value so you can drive home in a new vehicle in 90 minutes or less. Our goal is to save you more money and to save you time. So put us on the clock at Suntrup Hyundai, Kia, Nissan, or Volkswagen location today. We want your trade. We have thriving used car departments and need to replenish our inventory monthly. At Suntrup Automotive, we want to make your car buying easy and efficient for you and your family. We're mindful of your time. Our trade appraisals are done in minutes, and we do them up front. And we want to help you drive off in a new Suntrup vehicle in about 90 minutes. We're ready to do whatever it takes to help you trade up at Suntrup today.
Trade up at Suntrup.
See dealer for details. Time may be longer during peak weekend hours.
Maybe you're like me and you have the occasional back pain from playing with the kids or a sore shoulder, whatever the case may be. You don't have a chronic pain condition. But when I go to Naputi Wellness, they can handle that. They can fix that. They've got chiropractors who work on site down there who can take care of those little aches and pains if that's the kind of thing you're dealing with. But if you deal with a more chronic pain situation, and I've been fortunate enough to not find myself in that situation, but I know family members who are, that's miserable. And Dr. Eric Naputi loves to help people break the cycle of that chronic pain by getting to the source of it so you don't have to depend on drugs and surgery for the rest of your life to try to get your life back. Go see him, see what he can do for you. He's helped lots of people at Naputi Wellness Center. He won't let your insurance dictate your level of care. He's going to get you to the clinic, and he wants to change the health of this great city of ours. Go to his website, NaputiWellnessCenter.com. NaputiWellnessCenter.com. It's time to put a stop to that chronic pain once and for all.
Hey, would you buy a house without looking inside? Well, of course not. Well, shouldn't you be just as diligent when choosing a financial advisor? Hey, it's Sean Hannity here, and just as a house is more than four walls, well, a financial advisor is more than just a nice office. Now, what's their background? Do they work in your best interest as a fiduciary? What's their financial specialty? Now, you want to know all these things because the chances are over your lifetime, you're going to trust them with far more than the value of your home because knowledge and experience count for a lot in retirement income planning. Here in St. Louis, you need to know Ken and Lori Heisey and the team at the Heisey Advisory Group. Call them now at 314-328-6000. That's 314-328-6000. Don't be cavalier with your financial assets. Heisey Advisory Group, 314-328-6000.
Investment advisory services offered through Global Financial Private Capital, LLC. Securities offered through GF Investment Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Hey, St. Louis, if you have not checked out the newest Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Brentwood, you are missing out. It's like a sports bar for your head. Get an unbelievable haircut, hot lather neck shave, and hot towel treatment for just $12. It's on Hanley Road, just south of Highway 40 in front of Menards. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men has won double-digit men's styling awards, and their talented stylists are delivering the best haircuts in all of St. Louis. It's in Brentwood on Hanley Road, just south of Highway 40 in front of Menards. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Brentwood, it's wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. These days, everyone's claiming to be an expert, but there's only one home loan expert. There's only one mortgage lender that you call when you want the lowest rate on the best loan with customer service that no one can match. Refinancing or buying a home? Why would you go anywhere else? Let the real experts go to work for you. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, Indiana residential mortgage licensee. The Home Loan Expert, LLC.
Dave Glover. The Dave Glover Show.
Monday on the DGS, we got Kilmeade, Cusimano, and Jim Talent.
Dave Glover.
Now weekdays 3 to 7 on FM News Talk 97.1. You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
Is there a possibility that the president would not sign this spending agreement?
I mean, he's very pleased with the priorities, but I just want to let's wait till it's presented to him. But he is obviously very pleased with how his priorities were addressed in the CR, and I have every expectation that he would sign it. But let's wait till it's on his desk.
Please clap.
So the media asking Sean Spicer some questions there a minute ago at the White House briefing, and they brought one up that I had not heard before, floating the idea, cut number 26 there, Liz, that the president has a plan to raise the federal gas tax in the country. I had not heard that brought up before, but let's go to 26 and see what Sean Spicer had to say about it.
Some news the president made this morning in an interview that he conducted with Bloomberg. In that interview, he talked about the possibility of raising gas taxes to pay for infrastructure spending. And of course, the president has put forward the idea of $1 trillion infrastructure spending plan. Can you talk a little bit more about this possibility of raising gas taxes?
Yeah, so what the president said during that interview is that folks from the industry had come to him and expressed to him how the deteriorating roads were affecting their ability to deliver goods and services throughout this country, and that they had expressed a willingness to see something like that as a way to help pay for and repair the roads and bridges, and that he said that he, out of respect, would definitely listen to them and consider it.
So there you have it. I guess he made those comments to Breitbart. I'd not heard those yet today as a way to maybe pay for some of the infrastructure work that he wants to get done around the country. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of wanting him to cut taxes, not raise them. I mean, the thing about a gas tax is it impacts people who use gas, so you're getting it from the people that are using the roads. That's one argument you could make. But, I mean, the problem is in states like Illinois and Chicago and New York, the states have kind of hijacked the gasoline tax as another way to prop up their state budgets. And if you added a higher federal tax on top of that, that's going to increase your cost to get to work and live. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll see when the proposal comes forward, I guess. Let me get to our news director, Jason Church, who is chomping at the bit right now to tell us a little bit of information. A lot of people, I'm always impressed when there are flooding problems in the area, the number of people who turn out to volunteer and help fill sandbags, and God bless you for doing it, because a lot of these homeowners wouldn't have a chance of saving their homes or businesses if it wasn't for people willing to do that. But, Jason, there is a place that folks need specific help right now, correct?
Yeah, definitely. We had mentioned Eureka earlier, and Tim Jones is going to talk hopefully a little bit more about that later on next hour. But I had a friend, Casey, who got a hold of me and said that there is another area that they need sandbaggers. It's at the West County Precinct at 232 Vance Road in Valley Park. She says that, of course, with the 141 closures, in order to get there, you have to come through Big Bend to Hannah to Vance Road and make a left on Vance. They need folks with shovels, gloves, rain gear, and food is provided. As many volunteers as possible out there at 232 Vance Road.
Yeah, that's right across from that. There's a strip shopping center across the street from it, I think.
Yeah.
With like a gun store in it. Can't think of the name of it. I know that. I know I've been in there at some point, because I've been in all of them at some point. But that's, it's easy to get to. I remember last time I talked to the captain. I got to know the captain who was in charge of that precinct down there in Valley Park, and it just completely destroyed their facility the last time. And took them a long time to get it back up and running, and now here they're facing potentially the same thing again. So if you want to contribute something to law enforcement and you've got some free time this afternoon, they could use you down there on Vance Road to sandbag a little bit.
Yep.
I think I saw Channel 2 do something live down there earlier, or Channel 4, one of the two of them that were down there. So hopefully people can turn out and help. That's fantastic. Hey, they just had they've been doing live coverage of this on all the networks today. Have you seen it? Today's May Day. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. What do you think May Day is, Liz?
The first day of May. What do I win?
No. You are not a winner. So people go out on May Day to celebrate May Day but it's also known as International Workers' Day. And I find it's fascinating to watch the media coverage of this, where they treat it almost like Labor Day. But that's never what it is or was. And it's not about people going out and kids twirling colorful ribbons around a maypole or something like that. You need to understand what it is, number one, before you watch the coverage. And you need to understand that specifically before you go out and participate in something like this. May Day, International Workers' Day, was started by Marxists to celebrate communism. That's what it was. Now it's going to be co-opted today all across the United States by people who hate Donald Trump. And you're going to see there have been protests in other parts of the world for different reasons, but you're going to see marches and people recognizing this day today in America as some sort of voice against Donald Trump. So they're just stealing May Day for their own purposes. Just like the Occupy Wall Street people they gave up that cause and they've moved on to hating Donald Trump. I mean,
I was going to see it.
Right.
Just kind of seems like what they do.
Well, it is. But just go back and learn your history on it. It's absolutely to celebrate communism and or socialism. The goal has changed a little bit over the years. But, I mean, there are going to be 259 events in more than 200 cities. Some of them are going to be using it to focus on immigration, immigrants' rights, and it's got nothing to do with that. So I just learn your history, know what it's about before you go out there. Hey, lots coming up in our next hour. We got Tim Jones is going to call us. We've got our Twitter poll out now. We're going to talk more about that. It deals with the president's budget. I think you know where I stand on that, the one that the Congress just passed. We'll talk more about our charity golf tournament we've got coming up, of course, to benefit the Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital. And we'll get to your phone calls, 314-969-9797.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of the Mark Cox Show.
Did you lose any tree limbs in all of that rain? I saw them scattered all around my neighborhood. I don't know if it's from the weight of the rain. There was quite a bit of wind that came after it yesterday. That's the advantage that having somebody like Hanson's Tree Service come out and look at your yard in advance might save you a little bit of grief down the road, a broken fence, or heaven forbid somebody being injured by a dead limb falling off of a tree. They can spot those things. They can remove it. They can clean it up so that when more of these storms blow through, you reduce your risk of liability. Of damage to your property from one of these limbs falling. And insurance may not cover a fallen tree if the tree was damaged or diseased prior to the event. That's good news to have. The best thing about Hanson's, they'll always give you free estimates. They're not going to charge you to come out there and take a look. So request a quote. You can go right to their website to do that, hansonstree.com.
If you've been contacted by the IRS or Missouri Department of Revenue for an audit or a past due tax debt, you may need the services of a tax attorney that can resolve your tax issues. Hi, I'm Lance Drury, a local tax attorney with over 30 years of experience, and I've helped hundreds resolve their IRS issues. Contact me at the law firm of Lance Drury right here in St. Louis. Your first visit is free and confidential, and we'll meet in person and work on a strategy to protect you and ensure a fair compromise. I know your rights, I know the law, and I get results. So if you've missed tax filings or if you've been accused of tax evasion, tax fraud, facing IRS, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, act now. Call me, tax resolution attorney Lance Drury, at 314-238-7360, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. That's Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
Hope you enjoyed your meal.
And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Mark Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk, 97.1.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. A paramedic gets shot in Dallas near a training academy. Fox Radio's Eben Brown with more live.
At least Dallas police tweet that paramedic is now in critical condition at the hospital. That person was part of a crew responding to a call of someone who shot themselves not far from Cotton Bowl Stadium, east of the downtown area. That rescue crew started taking fire. Police now have that area locked down, specifically where Dolphin Road crosses I-30, and they're on the hunt for one, possibly two gunmen. At one point, the fire rescue crew was pinned down by repetitive gunfire, and one Dallas PD spokesman calls the situation very dangerous. Lisa.
Thanks, Eben. That area is also near a fire training academy. Police in San Diego now say race did not play a role in yesterday's deadly shooting at a pool party. The gunman, 49-year-old Peter Celis, shot himself after killing one person, wounding 6 others, all black or Latino, at an apartment complex.
Based on the information that we have gathered so far, our investigators, it is very clear that Celis was despondent over the breakup of his girlfriend.
San Diego Police Chief Shelley Zimmerman also says Celis was on the phone with his ex during the rampage because he wanted her to hear the carnage. People who want to list their homes as vacation rentals would have new rules to live by in San Francisco under a plan to settle a lawsuit. Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal with this live.
Lisa, San Francisco city attorney says this settlement means new Airbnb and HomeAway hosts have to register with the city before they offer rentals on those websites. Existing hosts will be phased into this over several months. Now, the data collected on all these renters will be provided to the city on a monthly basis. The city attorney said this agreement helps protect the city's housing supply by making these companies ensure that all their listings are legally registered.
Thanks, Jessica. Airbnb will set up a registration process if it wins final approval. Fair and balanced.
Blue the dog here for propane. Making the rounds with my owner, the propane man, has allowed me to see a lot. I may just be a simple dog. I didn't attend the elite boarding kennels, and you'll never see me on Barking with the Stars. But I do know that propane is the smart fuel that lets millions of Americans live where they want and how they want. It's clean, reliable, and powers modern appliances from tankless water heaters to high-efficiency furnaces. Learn more at proudlypropane.com.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get to grassity. Want to mow well in a higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
97.1 News Time 2:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. 4 people were injured and 1 was killed when a car rolled over after an accident on US 50 last night. The man in the passenger seat, 35-year-old Ernest Sawyer Jr., was thrown from the vehicle and died at the hospital. The driver was a Belleville woman, and 3 children that were in the back seat were taken to the hospital. The OfferUp app was used in a robbery last month, and the suspect has now been charged. Sequoia Henderson tricked college students into meeting him to sell a cell phone. When the 2 students arrived, Henderson and 3 others robbed the students of cash, laptops, cell phones, and a tablet. The other 3 thieves are still at large. 2 St. Charles County parks are closed due to flooding. The St. Charles County Parks and Recreation Department has closed Indian Camp Creek Park and the historic Daniel Boone home. For in-depth coverage on these stories and more, go to our website at 971talk.com/news.
It's spring, and the weather can't decide what it's doing. Make the decision now to call Scott Lee Heating for up to a $1,700 rebate on a new Lennox system. Scott Lee Heating can help keep your home comfortable now and year-round. Call 314-756-9444 today.
Every day, skeptical men suffering from erectile dysfunction come into the St. Louis Men's Clinic wondering if we can solve their problem. After all, you have tried pills, pumps, and lotions, all with little to no positive results. At the St. Louis Men's Clinic, we are successful 95% of the time. Why? Because our licensed physicians are experts at solving your ED. It's what we do all day, every day, solving your ED. See the results for yourself right in our office. The doctor's visit, testos, testosterone, and PSA test is only $199. Look, if you don't get results from the testos in our office, you owe us nothing for the office visit. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Call us now and move from skeptic to believer and ask about our new revolutionary Priapus shot. Appointments fill fast. Call 314-828-2600. That's 314-828-2600. Call 314-828-2600.
Tom, what do you like best about this job?
I like to see the look on people's faces when they see the difference we made.
And what do we say to people?
All you have to do is point.
And whatever you're pointing at will disappear. And what happens after it disappears?
We recycle the recyclables
and donate the donatables
so planet Earth stays happy and healthy.
I love planet Earth.
Me too. It's my favorite planet.
So they point, junk disappears, and we do the right things with it.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Kubota's Orange Opportunity Sales Event is going on now. Take on the tough jobs in a powerful Kubota Standard L Series. With the right combination of dependable horsepower and ease of operation, they're perfect for the independent property owner. Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 84 months. Now through May 31st, 2017. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about cost and terms.
Visit MissouriKubotaDealers.com or IllinoisKubotaDealers.com.
The folks at Golden Oak Lending want you to know that, ignore stories that you read in the media about mortgage rates and the like. They do still have low rates, and they have low rates you can lock in, maybe as low as 3%. It's always going to depend on your credit, but it doesn't hurt to call them, particularly if you're shopping for a house. We know the housing market is really hot, and if you don't walk in ready to say, listen, I've already been pre-approved, this is my offer, then the person behind you in line could say, wait a minute, if he's not ready, I'm ready, I'm approved. Why would you not do that? Here's the deal. At Golden Oak Lending, they'll do it for free. They'll pre-approve you for free. They don't ask for a credit card over the phone like some of these joints. They're right here in town, which is important to me. I'm not dealing with somebody out of state at some 800 number. You call Golden Oak, you let them get you pre-approved, you're ready to go in and buy. And if you're ready to refinance, they can help you with that too. They'll give you a free mortgage checkup right over the phone. Call them at 314-567-GOLD, 314-567-4653. Their NMLS number is 114937.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Smile Advantage. Access to dental care you need at a price you can afford without the hassle of dental insurance. Now in St. Louis at multiple locations. Learn more at SmileAdvantageSTL.com.
The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is The Mark Cox Show.
Pre-existing conditions are in the bill. And I just watched another network than yours, and they were saying pre-existing is not covered. Pre-existing conditions are in the bill, and I mandated. I said it has to be. So we're going to have lower premiums. And before you start there, let me just tell you something. Obamacare is dead. Obamacare right now, all the insurance companies are fleeing. Places like Tennessee have already lost half of their state with the insurance companies. They're all going. Obamacare, John, is dead. Okay, because we're being compared to Obamacare. just so you understand,
I just want to
Obamacare
compare you to
doesn't
your
work.
own.
One thing. No, it's important. I got to compare it.
No, but
that's
I
what
want
I'm
to
saying about Obamacare.
No, but I'm not. I'm
With
asking what you're
Obamacare,
going to
the
do.
premiums are too high. The deductibles are through the roof, so you never get to use it. But more importantly, it's dead. This bill is much different than it was a little while ago.
Trump, he was doing a lot of media this weekend. I think he's got an exclusive interview with Eric Bolling tonight on the Fox when he debuts his new show on Fox. So he had a lot of exclusives. He was talking to John Dickerson this weekend. CBS This Morning was at the White House today, airing some of that. And then he'll be doing Eric Bolling tonight, talking about not only health care, but this budget deal they passed, which I think they could have extracted a little more in terms of concessions from these Democrats, and they didn't do it. So that has me a little disappointed, quite frankly. In fact, I want to know what you think about that. So in cooperation with Tony Colombo, we do our poll with Hair Saloon for Men, our Twitter poll that we do every Monday, and we have the results for you tomorrow. And it's a pretty simple one this week. Donald Trump says he's happy with this new spending bill, although Sean Spicer wouldn't say exactly when he's going to sign it. He says it gives both sides a few things and avoids a shutdown. Here's my poll. Are you happy with it? You know how I feel about it. I think they could have gotten more. They get no funding for the border wall. They got the money still going to Planned Parenthood. There are all these things. They wanted big cuts at the EPA. That's not happening. Is it going to happen in September? I don't know. But get on there and vote. Go to @TonyColombo971. Go to @MarkCox971. Retweet it. Let's find out what the Donald Trump base thinks about it. What do conservatives and Republicans think about this? What do liberals think about it? I bet if you're Nancy Pelosi, you're probably skipping today, because I think they won. Maybe Trump's lulling them into some false sense of security. But take our Twitter poll, sponsored by the Hair Saloon, and we'll have the results for you tomorrow afternoon. So I've tweeted that out. So has Tony, and I'm sure we will from the 97.1 Twitter account as well. I'll get to your phone calls on this in a minute. 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. We've been talking about the flooding all day. I got a live report earlier from Mama Kay, who is frequents our Twitter pages here. She said that she drove down Kirkwood, down 44 from Kirkwood, and 44 was dry, but the traffic's starting to back up on Bowles, out onto 44 already. And that's just a glimpse of what's going to happen if 44 shuts down at some point. We know 141 is closed down. There are reports that former House Speaker Tim Jones has been out sandbagging today. Not that he doesn't do that all the time, but he's joining us on the phone right now. Tim, how are you?
Well, Mark, I'd be better if I was sandbagging on a golf course.
There you go.
But unfortunately, I'm literally standing on top of sandbags on Central Avenue here in Eureka. A lot of folks know in our listening audience that when I was Speaker of the House, I had a little political office out here in Eureka in a building that my friend owns, Patrick Butler, 125-year-old building down on historic Central Avenue. I still have that office. We still use it for good, right-thinking folks to have meetings there, debate watch parties, whatever. We just finished putting the last touches on from the last flood, and unfortunately yesterday we ripped up the hardwood flooring, stored it upstairs, and we're putting the pumps in as we speak. It is a pretty rough scene. I will say this, though. Huge thank you to the Eureka community, all the Eureka High School and middle school kids out here today, all the Sacred Heart people, all the other churches. There's a huge disaster relief response. If people want to come out, we can use you for sandbagging. We don't need spectators though, so please stay away if you're just driving by to see how high we stack the sandbags. But we could use helpers out here in Eureka, Missouri, and I know there's other places along the Merrimack River Valley. Valley Park, Fenton, Pacific that could use the same.
Well, I think that's great. Do you mean to tell me those kids at Eureka High School got a day off school and they came out and helped you sandbag? That speaks pretty highly of them.
Mark, there are the football teams out here, the lacrosse, the soccer kids, the cheerleaders. We've got them all. And my daughters yesterday, they're in middle school. They helped us carry stuff up to the second floor of this building we have so we could store things. It's a pretty wild effort. I've lived in the Eureka area since 1976. Went through the 92 flood. The 93 flood didn't affect us as much. We just had the 2015 flood. So I guess I'm a flood veteran, unfortunately, but we're doing what we can. We're doing a lot of things differently this time. We learned a lot of lessons from the 2015 flood. We're using a lot of pumpers this time. We've got some experts on scene from SEMA, state management, from FEMA, from the fire department, all the other disaster relief services. I can't even name them all. And they're helping us with the channeling, with the canaling, with the pumping. And we're gonna try to work with Mother Nature to kind of keep the water flow as low as we can in the buildings if possible. And, Mark, we all promised to build a wall this year. Well, we built one out here in Eureka. That's where it is.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Just to remind people, I know you guys were out there and you did this in 2015, and the water still breached it. So are you fair? I mean, I know you moved the hardwood floors and everything. Do you have some confidence that maybe you've got it defeated this time?
Not really, Mark. I
No.
can tell you they're projecting the same level pretty much as last time, which was historic flood.
Oh.
I don't want to throw stones or anything. I'm not a hydrology expert, but the 82 flood, which was a historic flood, was the last time we had this issue. After the 93 floods, where we did not have this problem, there was a massive levee system built downriver from us in the Valley Park, Fenton area. We haven't had a major incident since 2015. So I don't know if those levees are too big or too high or contributing to this. All I know is the last time we had this was 82. We didn't have this in 93. We've had it twice now in 18 months. So what I'm saying is we're going to have to come up with a better solution out here for this community because, Mark, my office is a meeting place. I'm more worried, again, about all the restaurants and all the stores and all the people that are going to now have to potentially rebuild, or worse yet, they could just give up. Sure. And we're experiencing thousands of dollars potential damage, hundreds of thousands of potential damage out here, and lives. We're talking about lives and people's livelihoods. So we can't keep doing this every 18 months just because it rains a lot for 3 days. So we're going to have to look at some other options.
Yeah, I wondered about that myself, and I worry about what do insurance premiums do when you get hit twice in 18 months?
Well, Mark, a lot of people, they're going to say, hey, what are the taxpayers paying? Let me tell you, there's very little taxpayer money involved. SEMA and FEMA come in after a disaster. They dump some dumpsters, and it's great help, right? It's all the crude cleanup. But after that, if you're a business owner, pretty much it's up to you because you've probably heard the old cliche about flood insurance. It's true. It really doesn't do much. It's really hard to get. It's extremely, extremely expensive. And it's really much on the backs of these small mom-and-pop business owners. Joe Bacardi's, Odell's Irish Pub, and all the Chickenelli's, all the little diners and the shops and things around us here in Lower Eureka on our historic Central Avenue district that was, founded about 150 years ago. So.
Well, I wish him the best of luck with that. Tim, if I can move you on to the subject of politics for a moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's talk about what's going on at the Missouri legislature and the fact that, as I reported on Friday, there are a handful of Missouri senators who've decided that nothing else is probably going to get through the Senate unless they get their ethics reform package done. Where do you stand on that?
Mark, I have no problem if they want to try to make the system more transparent on things where it should be more transparent and things like that. But, Mark, let me tell you, right now, I can tell you that using where I am right now, there is nobody within a stone's throw of me that could give a rip about what they're arguing about right now on alleged ethics things up in Jefferson City. What they're worried about are things like rebuilding communities, right. Whether it's after a natural disaster or after an economic disaster, which we've been dealing with for 8 years of failed Obamonomics. They care about jobs. I salute the legislature for the first half of their session. They passed right to work. They passed significant other labor reforms. They were working on some tort reform measures which have passed. They've worked on some education reform measures that are passed. But, Mark, I can tell you, they're using catchphrases like ethics reform and stuff to hide personal agendas. And there is a you-know-what match going on between our governor and a couple of state senators on this ethics thing. And, Mark, as I was texting you last week, I was listening to your interview with Bill Eigel. Bill Eigel really hit the nail on the head. These alleged dark money bills, let me tell you, George Soros and the radical left would like nothing other than for the state Senate to keep, some of the state senators to keep pushing 501c4 disclosure. Let me tell you who's against 501c4 disclosure. The NRA. The NRA came out huge on Friday with a massive national blast saying how dangerous that is. This is, Mark, C4s are the last bastion of freedom of speech for conservatives. The left has the media, they've got the unions, they've got so much in their arsenal, whereas, all these groups, the Heritage Foundation, the Cato Institute, ALEC, the NRA, Americans for Life, all of the conservative groups, all of the issues relating to the Second Amendment, relating to life, you pass these C4 disclosure bills, and you're going to severely harm the conservative voice and the right to have the freedom of political speech in this country.
Wow. In the
Mark,
issue,
there's a lot more to this than everybody's
right.
got their little catchphrase and their talking points, but there's a lot more to this than what people are saying.
And the issue that gets down to is if that's not included in the bill, some of these guys aren't going to agree to pass it, and it's plugging up anything else getting out of the Senate. So hopefully they can get that worked through, because it would be a shame for us to finish and not at least get a few more things out of the Senate, like this preemption for the minimum wage. I hear that's tied up down there too. Yeah, in St. Louis.
You know what, Mark? Tony Messenger. This will really hit your home with your audience. Tony Messenger is on the side of all this stuff, and all this disclosure stuff. Tony Messenger is more interested in attacking legislators and lobbyists versus doing things to create jobs, pushback against this horrible minimum wage hike in the city of St. Louis, which is going to drive all those businesses out to the county or maybe out of business. Tony Messenger is against all the things that we want to have passed right now, and he's for all the things that are clogging up the system and causing the Senate to come to a screeching halt.
Well, Tim, listen, I appreciate diverting you to politics for a few minutes, but I know you got your hands full out there in Eureka, and tell all those folks thanks for their efforts, and we'll say a prayer for them.
Hey, Mark, thanks. Hey, Mark, if you want to come down tonight and sit in a lawn chair with us and smoke a cigar and drink some bourbon, we're going to watch the water rise and keep the pumps going.
If I could get down there, I will. I guess I've got to figure out how to get down there.
Yeah, and County Councilman Mark Harder standing right next to me. He said, "Come down and throw a sandbag or two with him." He's got his galoshes on.
There you go. All right, Tim. Thank you. Tell Mark I said hi.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.
Appreciate everybody. There's a lot of people in your audience out helping today, and we really appreciate that too. Thank you.
You bet, Tim. Thank you, former House Speaker Tim Jones down in Eureka. What a great community effort. And they know ultimately the odds are stacked against them if they get the same level of water they got in 2015. So let's hope that works. Let's hope it works this time and they figure out what the problem is. 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. If you're one of those people who's out there volunteering or looking for somewhere to volunteer, or you're seeing these similar problems again in 18 months, we'll get to your phone calls today. Call us at 314-969-9797. Tell us your situation. 866-455-9797. That, much more. Your phone calls. We'll get Tony Colombo in here. It's all coming up on The Mark Cox Show.
The Mark Cox Show on FM NewsTalk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
Watch the Mark Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Some great new deals for you at the Range St. Louis West. Maybe you've been to the Range. Maybe you've looked at that great indoor shooting facility down there, and you wanted to get a membership, and you just weren't sure. Well, they've changed now the way they're handling their membership program, and this is important. So members-only perks include monthly discounts, rewards on firearms and ammo and more. You get priority reservations if you want to go shoot. You can even pretty soon do online lane reservations, which is really cool. And your range fees are waived for the day that you sign up. Here's what they're doing. They're starting a monthly membership plan, an option where you can, starting at $25 a month, that includes those reduced range rates, the ammo savings, the training savings, and then those members-only bunker bonus specials every month at the range. And members-only specials for May, for example, half off training courses. You can retake any training class for free. That's why it pays to be a member at the Range St. Louis West out in the 14,800 block of Manchester Road in Baldwin. Be sure and check them out. Go online, look at their training classes, and more details on the membership program at therangestl.com.
It's been said that home is where the heart is. To Lakeside Exteriors, home is more than a place to lay your head. It's a place to dream. And we are driven to protect that dream we started years ago.